What happens when someone who stopped believing in tomorrow saves the life of a man who controls everyone's tomorrow? What happens when mercy becomes destiny? That single act of reckless compassion will shatter both their worlds and rebuild them into something neither can escape. Near midnight in Seoul, where glass towers pierce the sky and secrets pool in the spaces between buildings, where power flows through handshakes and blood stains the pavement nobody talks about, Elena Cross makes a choice that will tether her soul to the most feared man in South Korea. But we begin with the violence. We begin with the instant everything transforms. Elena Cross navigates the narrow streets of Itaewon on a Thursday night, her dark coils catching fragments of neon like a crown she never asked for. She's 34, full-figured, striking, and utterly hollowed out. The phone in her grip displays a one-way ticket confirmation to Accra, glowing like a tiny beacon of escape. She leaves in 36 hours. Leaves behind 3.5 years in Seoul, 3.5 years of attempting to belong, of chasing opportunities that evaporated like steam, of carrying the suffocating weight of isolation in a nation that always made her feel like a visitor, never a resident. The kimchi burns her throat now. The language still trips her up. The eyes still track her everywhere. She's exhausted beyond measure, exhausted in her bones, exhausted in her spirit. The alley materializes on her right, a dark mouth that reeks of old rain and something rotting. Common sense says keep walking, return to her cramped studio in Hongdae, finish packing, seal this chapter shut, board that plane and never think of Seoul again. Then she hears the voice, cold, sharp Korean words cutting through the night. Kang Min-ho, the Viper of Seoul, kneel. Elena stops breathing. Her pulse stumbles. That name, Kang Min-ho. She knows it, knows the face attached to it. 14 months ago, different alley, 3 men circling her with intentions written in their hungry stares. Then he materialized, Kang Min-ho in a tailored black suit, moving with lethal grace, scattering her attackers like they were nothing, like they were insects. He didn't wait for gratitude, didn't expect payment. He simply regarded her with those obsidian, impenetrable eyes and said in flawless English, "These streets are dangerous after dark. Go home." Now she's staring into this alley and seeing him, Kang Min-ho on his knees, blood threading down from his temple, wrists bound, and a man looming over him, gun aimed at his skull. This isn't her battle. This isn't her country. This isn't her burden. Yet her legs move anyway. Stop, the word rips from her in English, then stumbling Korean. Stop, please. 2 sets of eyes swing toward her. The gunman's expression warps with confusion. Kang Min-ho's eyes flare with recognition, then pure terror. Run, he commands. One word, absolute. But Elena Cross has been running her entire life. Running from her collapsed marriage in Accra, running from her father's silence, running from every dream that withered in her hands. She's finished running, so she runs toward them instead. The gunman's finger contracts on the trigger. Time fractures. Elena sees everything with impossible clarity, the rain beginning its descent, the neon reflections swimming in puddles, the precise angle of the barrel, the way Kang Min-ho's muscles tense as he prepares for death. She launches herself between them. The bullet punctures her shoulder and the universe detonates into agony. She's never been shot. She had no idea it would feel like this, like someone drove burning metal through muscle and nerve, like every cell is shrieking, like death and survival are occupying the same space. She's falling. The ground accelerates toward her. Strong arms intercept her before concrete meets flesh. No, 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 Kang Min-ho's voice fractured, desperate. What have you done? Why would you? The gunman shouts. More voices, running footsteps, the percussion of gunfire. But Elena sees only Kang Min-ho's face hovering above hers, his hands pressing against her wound, his eyes wild with something resembling grief. Stay with me, he orders. Don't you dare die, don't you dare. She wants to tell him she was leaving anyway, that dying here or dying slowly in her empty apartment, what's the real difference? But words won't form. Darkness rushes in instead. Her final conscious thought, at least I mattered, at least for this one moment, someone saw me. Elena surfaces 3 days later in a room that couldn't possibly be a hospital. The ceiling above displays hand-painted cranes in flight. The sheets surrounding her are silk, impossibly soft against her skin. Medical equipment beeps rhythmically beside the bed, but the space itself resembles a palace. Traditional Korean furnishings merged with contemporary luxury, artwork on the walls worth more than she's earned in her lifetime. She attempts to sit up. Pain explodes through her shoulder. A hand gently presses her back down. Don't move, the stitches will tear. Kang Min-ho occupies a chair beside her bed. He looks altered, exhausted, haunted, like sleep has been impossible. It probably has been. Where am I? Her voice emerges rough, unused. My home. A hospital would have generated too many questions, too many enemies. I have a private physician, the best in Seoul. You're safe here. Safe, such a peculiar concept, such an alien word. The man who shot me. Dead. Kang Min-ho's tone is flat, conclusive. All of them are dead. Of course they are. This is the world of shadows and secrets where violence is currency and death arrives casually. She should feel afraid. Instead, she feels only the persistent throbbing in her shoulder and the bizarre unreality of everything. I need to go home, she says. My flight leaves tomorrow. I'm leaving Seoul. Your flight departed 3 days ago. You missed it. He leans forward and she sees it then, the barely contained emotion in his eyes. Why did you do it? Why did you take that bullet? Excellent question. Impossible question. Elena laughs and it hurts. You saved me once. I was returning the favor. By dying, that's hardly an equal exchange. I wasn't planning to die. I was just planning to, she trails off. What was she planning? She doesn't even know anymore. Kang Min-ho studies her face like he's attempting to memorize every contour, every shadow. It makes her uncomfortable, this examination, like he's perceiving things she's hidden even from herself. Elena Cross, he says, and hearing her name shaped by his mouth feels intimate, forbidden. Born in Accra, Ghana, arrived in Seoul 3.5 years ago on a business visa, launched an import company that collapsed within 2 years, currently working 3 part-time jobs to service debts. Visa expires in 7 weeks. No family in Korea, no close friends, no reason to remain. She should be furious that he investigated her. Instead, she just feels exposed, transparent, completely seen. How thorough of you. I needed to understand who was brave enough or foolish enough to take a bullet for me. He reaches out slowly, giving her time to retreat and brushes a coil away from her forehead. His fingers are warm, scarred, the hands of someone who's constructed empires and buried enemies. I've existed in this world for 16 years. I've witnessed loyalty purchased with money, with fear, with blood ties, but you owed me nothing. You gained nothing, yet you threw yourself in front of a gun. Why? This is the question that matters, where their story truly begins. Elena closes her eyes. Do you know what it's like to feel invisible? To move through a city every day knowing you don't belong? To work yourself into exhaustion and still be one emergency away from losing everything? To be so lonely you speak aloud just to hear your own language? She opens her eyes. His face is centimeters from hers now. I was leaving, going back to Ghana to admit defeat, admit that I failed. Then I saw you and thought, here's someone who helped me when he didn't have to, someone who actually saw me when everyone else looked through me. Maybe saving you would mean something, would make this entire failed experiment mean something. Silence stretches long and heavy. She hears his breathing, steady, controlled. You didn't fail, he says finally. You survived, that's not failure, that's warfare. Then Kang Min-ho does something that changes everything. He takes her hand, her right hand, the one not connected to her injured shoulder, and brings it to his lips. The kiss is gentle, reverent, like she's something precious. You saved my life, he says against her skin. In my world, that creates a debt, a bond. Do you understand what that means? She doesn't. She has no comprehension of what she's stepped into, what door she's opened, what obsession she's ignited in the heart of Seoul's most dangerous man. But she's about to discover. Recovery crawls. The bullet tore through muscle and tissue, missing her lung by mere centimeters. Kang Min-ho's physician, Dr. Choi, a severe man who asks no questions and harbors too many secrets, visits daily. Physical therapy, antibiotics, pain medication that clouds her thoughts and distorts her dreams. But it's not the physical healing that transforms her. It's the world she's been pulled into. Kang Min-ho's residence is a fortress masquerading as a mansion, situated in Pyeongchangdong, Seoul's most exclusive enclave. It occupies 3 acres of meticulously maintained gardens and concealed security systems. Staff glide through corridors like spirits, silent, efficient, utterly devoted. She learns their names gradually. Mrs. Choi, the housekeeper who brings her soup and speaks no English. Min, head of security, who watches her with suspicious eyes. Soo-jin, the cook who prepares her jollof rice when homesickness overwhelms her. And Kang Min-ho himself. He's present every day, morning, afternoon, evening, bringing her books in English, sitting beside her bed while she sleeps, discussing everything and nothing. She learns about him in fragments, like assembling a puzzle. He's 38. Assumed control of his father's organization at 23 when the old man was assassinated by a rival faction. Consolidated power through strategic ruthlessness and calculated mercy. Built an empire spanning Seoul's underworld. Gambling, loans, protection, information. Not drugs, never drugs. Not human trafficking, never that. He has boundaries he won't cross, honor among criminals. Do you ever regret it? She asks one evening, 2 weeks after the shooting, finally able to sit upright without gasping. This life. Kang Min-ho stands by the window, backlit by the Seoul skyline. He's handsome in that dangerous way, sharp features, intense eyes, the kind of face that stops hearts and shatters them. Regret implies I had a choice, he says. I was born into this. My fate was written before my first breath. Everyone has choices, she counters. Do they? He turns to regard her. Did you choose to be born in Ghana? Did you choose your appearance, the way people perceive you, the obstacles you'd face? Did you choose to fail, Elena? Or did circumstances choose for you? The question lands like a blow because he's right. She didn't choose to be othered in Seoul, didn't choose to have every business negotiation tainted by assumptions and prejudice, didn't choose to work twice as hard for half the recognition. This world, she says, using his language, it's all you know. No, he crosses the room, sits on the edge of her bed, bold, intimate. You're wrong, I know beauty, I know art. I know how rain sounds on temple roofs and how the Han River appears at sunrise. I know Chopin and John Coltrane. I know poetry and philosophy. I chose to learn those things, chose to be more than what my bloodline demanded. He reaches out, traces her cheekbone with his thumb. She should pull away. She doesn't. And now I know you, he whispers. I know your courage, your loneliness, the way you speak twee when you think no one's listening, the way you cry at night when the pain overwhelms you. I know you, Elena Cross, and that is a choice I'm making. This is the tension they'll navigate. This attraction between a Ghanaian woman with nothing and a Korean crime lord who possesses everything. You don't know me, she says, but her voice betrays her, soft, uncertain. Then let me try, stay, recover here, let me, he stops himself. Let me repay my debt. And then what? I leave, return to Ghana and pretend this never happened. If that's what you want. But they both know that's a lie. Both know this is already something else, something darker, something that resembles forbidden love and tastes like obsession. She doesn't say yes, but she doesn't say no either, and that's answer enough. 3 weeks after the shooting, Elena is strong enough to explore the mansion. Her shoulder still aches, especially before rain, but she can walk, dress herself, approximate normalcy. Kang Min-ho grants her unrestricted access. His library becomes her sanctuary, floor-to-ceiling books in Korean, English, Japanese. His garden becomes her refuge, koi ponds and cherry trees and stone benches where she can breathe. But she's not naive. She perceives the truth. The men who arrive and depart at all hours, their suits expensive but their eyes hard. The phone calls Kang Min-ho takes in private rooms, his voice low and lethal. The way Min sometimes returns with blood on his shoes. This isn't a home, it's a command center, and she's living in the heart of Seoul's underworld. Does it bother you? Soo-jin asks one afternoon in the kitchen, her English broken but determined. Knowing what he does. Elena considers while chopping vegetables for dinner, needing to feel useful, needed. Should it? Most people, they fear Mr. Kang. They respect, they fear. But you different. You see him different. How do I see him? Sujin smiles. Like he's a man, just a man. Not a viper, not a monster, just man. Is that what she's doing? Humanizing the devil, falling for a crime lord in a romance that can only end in devastation. That night, Kang Min-ho invites her to join him for dinner. Not in her room as they've been doing, but in his private dining room, formal, intentional. She wears a dress Sujin loans her, deep burgundy silk that makes her skin luminous. Does her hair, makeup, armor. Kang Min-ho stands when she enters, and the expression on his face says everything. Desire, reverence, possession. You're beautiful, he says simply. They eat galbi and kimchi, French wine, and Korean desserts. They discuss everything except what's actually happening between them, the attraction building like a storm, the way they've both been circling this moment. After dinner, he takes her to his study, shows her something he's never shown anyone, a wall of photographs. His parents, young and in love. His younger brother who died at 17, a car accident, senseless tragedy. His first mentor, killed in the gang war that elevated Kang Min-ho to power. Every person he's ever loved and lost. This is who I am, he says. Violence and grief, power constructed on blood, is that something you can accept? Elena studies the photographs, sees the pattern. Everyone he loves dies or leaves. You think I'll leave too, she realizes. I know you will. You should. This existence destroys everything good that comes near it. She turns to face him. They're standing so close now she can see the scar on his temple from the night she saved him, can smell his cologne, cedar and smoke. What if I don't want to leave? It's the first time she's admitted it to him, to herself. This forbidden love, this obsession, it's infected her too. Kang Min-ho's control finally fractures. He cups her face in his hands, thumbs brushing her cheeks. Don't say that unless you mean it. Don't give me hope if you're going to take it away. I mean it. The kiss is inevitable, desperate, years of loneliness meeting years of isolation. She tastes redemption on his lips. He tastes freedom on hers. It's everything a first kiss should be, tender and violent, gentle and consuming. When they separate, they're both breathing hard. I can't promise you safety, he says. I can't promise you normal, but I can promise this. I will protect you with everything I have. I will keep you safe. I will. The study door crashes open. Taemin stands there, face pale, phone in hand. Sir, we have a problem. It's Baek Jae-hoon. He knows about her, and he's coming. The name means nothing to Elena, but she sees what it does to Kang Min-ho, sees the fear flash across his features before he conceals it. How long? Kang Min-ho asks, his voice ice. Hours, maybe less. This is the twist, the betrayal, the moment everything shifts. Baek Jae-hoon. The name circulates like a curse throughout the mansion as everyone mobilizes. Kang Min-ho explains while his people arm themselves and fortify the house. Baek Jae-hoon was his second in command, his closest ally, the man he trusted most. Until 7 months ago when Kang Min-ho discovered the betrayal. Baek Jae-hoon had been selling intelligence to their rivals, embezzling profits, building his own faction in secret. The execution was supposed to be clean, quick, but Baek Jae-hoon escaped, disappeared underground. Now he's resurfaced, and he knows about Elena. He'll use you to get to me, Kang Min-ho says. They're in his armory now. A room Elena didn't know existed beneath the mansion, walls lined with weapons. He'll try to take you, hurt you, and that, his hands curl into fists, that I cannot allow. Then let me leave. I'll. No, the word is absolute, final. You're mine to protect now, mine to keep safe, and I don't fail twice. There it is, the possessiveness, the obsession taken to its extreme. He won't release her, won't risk her, won't accept any outcome except her safety. Some women might find it romantic. Elena finds it terrifying and thrilling and intoxicating. What's the plan? She asks. You stay here, underground safe room. Taemin will guard you personally. I'll handle Baek Jae-hoon. And if he kills you? Kang Min-ho looks at her then, really looks at her, and she sees it, the depth of his feeling. This isn't just gratitude or debt. This is something that's been growing in the spaces between them, something that resembles love. Then at least I'll die knowing you're safe. He kisses her hard, desperate, a goodbye kiss, a promise kiss. Then he's gone, and Elena is being ushered into a safe room by Taemin, and the waiting begins. The safe room is comfortable, a small apartment really, fully stocked, ventilated. Taemin stands guard at the door, gun in hand. Elena sits on the bed and tries not to imagine all the ways Kang Min-ho could be dying upstairs. Hours pass. She hears muffled sounds, shouting, gunfire, something that might be an explosion. Taemin remains stoic, immovable. Then his phone buzzes. He answers, listens. His face drains of color. What? Elena demands. What's happening? Taemin doesn't answer. He simply raises his gun and points it at her. I'm sorry, he says, and she hears it in his voice, the genuine remorse. But Baek Jae-hoon has my son. He says bring you, he releases him. I have no choice. Please understand. This is the real betrayal, not from a stranger but from someone Kang Min-ho trusts, someone with a child held hostage, with impossible choices, with his own love driving his actions. Elena could fight, could scream. What good would it do? Okay, she says quietly. Okay, let's go. Baek Jae-hoon has chosen his battlefield carefully, an abandoned warehouse in Incheon, far from Kang Min-ho's territory, industrial, isolated, the kind of place where screams dissolve into nothing. Taemin delivers Elena with visible anguish. Baek Jae-hoon waits there, surrounded by a dozen armed men. He's younger than she expected, maybe 36, handsome in a cold way. He regards her with clinical interest, like she's a tool, not a person. The Ghanaian woman who took a bullet for my old friend, he says in accented English. I've heard stories, how he can't stop thinking about you, how he's become obsessed. Kang Min-ho, the man who feels nothing, the viper of Seoul, brought to his knees by forbidden love. He laughs. It's almost poetic. Where's my son? Taemin demands. Baek Jae-hoon gestures. A door opens. A teenage boy is pushed out, crying but alive. Taemin rushes to him, embraces him. Then they're being escorted away. He doesn't look back. Elena doesn't blame him. Now, Baek Jae-hoon says, turning his attention to her, we wait for the viper. He doesn't wait long. The warehouse doors explode inward. Kang Min-ho enters like a force of nature, flanked by 20 men, all armed, all prepared to die for him. His suit is torn, blood stains his collar. Not his blood, she knows. His eyes scan the warehouse until they find her, and she sees the relief, the fear, the fury. Let her go, Jae-hoon, he calls out. This is between us. But that's where you're wrong, old friend. Baek Jae-hoon produces a gun, presses it to Elena's temple. She doesn't flinch. She's been here before, hasn't she? 3 weeks ago in an alley, a different gun, a different night. This stopped being between us the moment you chose her over everything we built, over our brotherhood, over the empire. You've gone soft, Min-ho, and soft men don't survive in our world. What do you want? Kang Min-ho's voice is careful, controlled, but Elena sees the rage beneath, the barely leashed violence. I want you to suffer the way I suffered when you sentenced me to death. The way I've suffered these 7 months hiding like vermin, while you lived in your mansion with your African pet. The racial slur is deliberate, designed to provoke. It works. Kang Min-ho takes a step forward. Guns rise all around them. One wrong move and everyone dies. Don't, Elena says, her first word since arriving. Don't let him bait you. Baek Jae-hoon laughs. Oh, she speaks. Tell me, Ghanaian woman, do you actually love him? Or is this just Stockholm Syndrome, a broken woman clinging to her powerful savior? Valid question. Elena has asked herself the same thing during the long nights of recovery. Is what she feels real, or just gratitude and proximity and the intoxicating danger of it all? She looks at Kang Min-ho across the warehouse, sees the man behind the monster, the man who reads poetry and tends gardens and has lost everyone he's ever loved, the man who looks at her like she's his redemption, his hope, his last chance at something pure. Yes, she says simply. I love him. The truth of it strikes her as she says it. This is love, complicated, messy, impossible love. Romance in its truest form, forbidden love that breaks all the rules. Baek Jae-hoon's face contorts, then die together. His finger tightens on the trigger. Elena does what she does best, acts without thinking. She throws herself backward, slamming her injured shoulder into his gut. The pain is astronomical, but the gun discharges harmlessly into the ceiling. Chaos erupts, gunfire shouting. Kang Min-ho's men surge forward. Baek Jae-hoon's men return fire. Elena hits the ground, rolls, her shoulders screaming in protest. Through the chaos, she sees Kang Min-ho, sees him fighting his way toward her, gun in one hand, knife in the other. He moves like the viper he's named for, fast, lethal, unstoppable. Men fall before him. Nothing will keep him from her. Baek Jae-hoon sees it too, sees his plan collapsing. He raises his gun one final time, aiming at Elena. Kang Min-ho throws the knife. It flies true, embedding itself in Baek Jae-hoon's shoulder. The gun clatters away. Then Kang Min-ho is on him, and what happens next is brutal, necessary, final. When the violence ends, Baek Jae-hoon is dead. Kang Min-ho stands over his body, chest heaving, knuckles bloody. He turns to Elena, crosses the space between them in 3 strides, pulls her into his arms, careful of her shoulder, and holds her like she might evaporate. Never again, he says into her hair. Never again will I let you be in danger. Never again. You can't promise that, not in your world. Then I'll change my world for you. I'll burn it all down if I have to. And she believes him. God help her, she believes him. 3 months later, early spring in Seoul, cherry blossoms beginning to bloom. Elena stands in the garden of Kang Min-ho's mansion, now her garden too, watching the koi swim in lazy circles. Her shoulder has healed, leaving only a scar, a permanent reminder of the night that changed everything. So much has happened in 3 months. Kang Min-ho kept his promise. He's been systematically dismantling the more dangerous aspects of his empire, severing ties with violent factions, focusing on legitimate businesses. It won't happen overnight. You don't leave the underworld without consequences. But he's trying for her, for the future they might build together. Taemin returned, apologetic and ashamed. Kang Min-ho forgave him, understood what it meant to love someone so much you'd betray everything for them. Taemin's son is safe now. That's what matters. Elena has found her place here, not as a kept woman or hidden secret, but as herself. She launched a new business, this time with Kang Min-ho's connections smoothing the way, export and import, bridging Ghana and Korea, succeeding where she failed before. She speaks Korean better now, has friends, belongs. But it's not easy. People talk, people stare. A Ghanaian woman with a Korean crime lord, it's scandalous, forbidden, the kind of story that makes people whisper. She doesn't care anymore. Let them talk. She survived bullets and betrayal. She can survive gossip. Kang Min-ho joins her in the garden, wrapping his arms around her from behind. What are you thinking about? Redemption, she says. Whether people like us deserve it, people like us. Broken people, people who have made mistakes, people who have lived in darkness so long they forgot what light looks like. He turns her to face him. His eyes are softer now than 3 months ago, less haunted, almost peaceful. I think everyone deserves redemption, he says, but not everyone is brave enough to reach for it. You taught me that. You, a woman who had nothing, who owed me nothing, you reached for it. You saved my life, not just physically, but in every way that matters. She touches his face, this man, her crime lord, her obsession, her love. And you saved mine. They kiss, soft and slow, as cherry blossoms fall around them like snow. It's cinematic, perfect, the ending and the beginning all at once. Will you stay? He asks, not a demand this time, a question, an offer. Will you stay in Seoul in this life with me? Elena thinks about the woman she was 3 months ago, lost, alone, planning to run back to Ghana in defeat. She thinks about the bullet that changed everything, the romance that bloomed from blood, the forbidden love that became her salvation. Yes, she says, I'll stay. This is their story, proof that sometimes the most dangerous love is the one worth fighting for, that redemption is always possible, that love is the bravest thing you'll ever do. Choose it. Fight for it. Take the bullet. If you enjoy this story, kindly subscribe to the channel, comment what you thought, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss out. See you in the next part. Peace.